Welcome to Memphis, full of individuals that you can vibe to. Just don't be a snitch, that's all we ask you. Hello. So I'm finally building up my earring wall. That's what this mysterious blue thing on my wall is. It's somewhere to hang my earrings. And while I do that, I'll tell you about the $25,000. So there's a popular chain restaurant. I'm not going to say the name of the restaurant, but I'll give you two clues. Um, Wisconsin cheese and honey butter croissants. So you can take those two clues, and it's a popular restaurant, and figure it out. So this restaurant finally came to Memphis, and at the first location they were hiring. And so since it was a brand new restaurant, a lot of people came out to apply. It was like about like 100 or so of us applying. All right, so when I applied at the restaurant, it's all walks of life, older people, younger people, men, women, like, just all types of people, all races. Okay. And when I applied for the job, ugh, when I applied for the job, of course, whenever I apply for a restaurant job, I put on makeup, curl my hair. I look professional, but I put on some type of sex appeal. So, and ugh, this wall. Since I had an alcohol and beverage card, an ABC card, it was easy for me to get hired. Like, in order to work in Tennessee and in order to serve alcohol, you had to have an alcohol and beverage card. And that cost, back then, it was about $80. So it wasn't that easy for everybody to get. And I already had one. So that just made it easier for me to get hired. So I got hired, and I go to training. Okay. I look around, all right, and there's two white guys, about four or five darker skinned women, like I was one of them, about 30 black men, 20 to 30 black men, and about 30 to 40 light skinned, thick girls. So we get hired, we start working, and I already been working in the restaurant industry for a while at this point, so I basically knew what I was doing. Why didn't no one know what they were doing? And the first day, the restaurant was so crowded. Like, there was a line out the door. And I said, if we can keep this crowd, we'll make so much money. Well, we didn't keep the crowd because no one knew what they were doing. So the manager is this taller black guy. He was the general manager of the restaurant. And there was a shorter white lady. She was a really good manager. And there was a couple of other managers. They didn't really know what they were doing themselves. Okay, so if one of my guests had a complaint and I go to the manager, tell me why they all ran away and they all let me deal with the problem myself. And I've never worked in a restaurant where my managers ran away. The white lady, she always handled it, but everyone else ran away. And the general manager, anytime a problem or a little issue came up to him, he'll be like, oh gosh, oh my gosh. Like, he'll make it such a big deal that he'll run back to his office.
Okay. Hello?
So after a while of working there, I realized that I'm getting the same little sections every day. But these girls that didn't know what they were doing, they were getting bigger sections. And by sections, I mean like the tables that you get that you can work like per shift, like how many tables that you have. They would have bigger sections, they would have longer shifts, they would have more shifts, and they were making the most tips. And as every week went on, our crowd got shorter and shorter and shorter. And then we used to have a wait list. There came a point where the wait list wasn't even necessary anymore because the crowd was just not even there anymore because no one knew what they were doing. The customer service was awful. So one day out the blue, I'm just working, minding my business, and the general manager came up to me and he said, I was staying with my grandmother at the time, taking care of her. He came to me and he said, just out the blue, he said, do you mind if I come over and take care of you tonight? And I said, I don't think my grandma would like that. And then he gave me a hug. He hugged me and he was like rubbing me all up and down my back. He was like, oh, that's okay.
Stop it. Get some help.
And that was the end of that. That was so weird. Um, After a while of not making enough money, I finally decided to quit. So then, fast forward a few years later, I wonder if this is going to work. Okay. Fast forward a few years later, I get a letter in the mail, and it says, between this month or this year or whatever, have you worked at this restaurant? And then the rest of the letter said, have you ever been sexually harassed at this restaurant? And so I filled it out. I said yes, and I explained the incident that happened. And about a month later, I get a check in the mail from that restaurant for $25,000.
Oh my God! Wow!
Wow, right? So where's the $25,000 now? Well, some of it's gone, of course, but the rest of it is right outside. I decided that I wanted to get a dependable car like a Honda or a Toyota, like a new Honda or a new Toyota. A car that's going to last me a long time. The car, I was already driving a little Nissan, like an old little Nissan. It was a cool car. It had low miles and it was a nice car. But the thing is, every time you started it, you have to start it 2 or 3 times for it to go. It will start every time, but you have to start it 2 or 3 times. And no one got it. We took that car everywhere to figure out what the problem was. Like, we took it to small garages, bigger garages, like Firestone and all of that. And we even took it to the Nissan dealership. No one can figure out, why does it take 2 or 3 times to start this car? And so I decided on a new Toyota, and the car is awesome. It's still in awesome condition. All it needs is a headlight and a windshield. Nothing engine related. It's amazing. So I made a really good purchase. So that was the story of how I got $25,000 from a restaurant. Now I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for listening as always. And y'all have a good one. to finish this freaking wall.